My number one pet peeve about ukulele. People trying to correct me and say it's pronounced ukulele. I know it is, but that ship has sailed. It's never gonna happen. Number two is those little like videos are like, the only chords you need for ukulele. Here's a bunch of like your freshman 15 chords. That's great. It's good to know a bunch of chords, but I wish people would teach ukulele chords, guitar chords, piano chords, whatever, in context instead of just a chunk of stuff you have to memorize. Because once you know chords in context and how they're used in songs, that's what you really want to know. Learning songs becomes easier, playing becomes more fun. You don't have to think about it as much, and everything is just better. So what do I mean by in context? All right, there are things called keys. A key is a collection of notes that sound good together. You can combine notes in a key to make a chord. Generally, a chord is 3 different notes. Now, a ukulele has 4 strings for the most part, like a C major. It's just the 3rd fret on the highest string. I can play 4 strings, but I'm only playing 3 different notes, right? G, C, E, C. So it's really just a combination of a C, an E, and a G are gonna give me this chord, C major chord. A bunch of different ways that you can do this on a ukulele, which we might talk about later. But contextually, these notes make up chords, 7 notes in a key. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I did another video about ukulele scales. I will link to you if you guys are interested in scales. But 7 notes in key, any of those notes become its own chord. So it makes sense, I think, to learn 7 chords if they're your first 7 chords, if they're just your main 7 chords. Learn them in context because you will always see them together. And then once you can contextually and comfortably move around 7 chords that make sense together, which basically play any song ever made as long as there isn't a key change, with these 7 chords just maybe moved. You can use like a smaller ukulele capo. I actually recommend just like learning movable shapes, which we'll talk about in a future lesson if you guys are interested. But let's learn them all right? Key of C, C major. Basically, the notes are C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. There aren't any sharps and flats. That's why it is a perfect key to learn for ukulele or guitar, right? Now, this is going to be the first note in the key. C is the first note in the key of C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, right? So this is the one note. This is the one chord, okay? So the one chord in any major key is going to be a major chord. So C major, open, 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 3. Let's go right to the 2 chord. What's the 2 chord? What's the second note in the key? C, D. It's just like the alphabet starting on C. So D is going to be a minor chord in any key is the 2 chord, right? The 2 chord is always going to be minor. 1 chord is major, 2 chord is minor. We'll come up with the formula at the end so you can memorize all this. But we're going to play it like this. Or you can play it, like this, just 2, 1, open from the bottom 3. I kind of like playing it 2, 2, 1, open. Okay, so here's D minor. Cool way to do it is just practice C major to D minor. The nice thing about that is you can just use your pinky to play that C major. And then the D minor notes can just hover above the strings. Great way to go back and forth between those 2, all right? It's always gonna resolve. Any progression in this key is going to resolve or sound good to end on by playing that C major chord, right? What's the 3 chord in the key of C? C, D, E. The 3 chord in the key of C is E minor, okay? The 3 is always minor. So maybe you've seen this too. E minor. We have open, 4, 3, 2. One thing that I recommend for a lot of these is if you just want to focus on 3 notes at a time, just worry about the highest 3 strings. And you use your thumb to kind of just hold that low string. C, D minor, E minor. Now the cool thing about that, if you look at this, C, D minor, E minor, I can still take a chunk of this shape and then just move it down a string, down a fret, and then drop my ring finger there. Like that. Or you can get that open string in there too, right? 1 chord, 2, 3, 4. What's the 4 chord in the key of C? C, D, E, F, all right? The 4 chord in any key is always gonna be major. Like I said, don't worry about memorizing that now. We'll come up with like an easy way to do that at the end of the time, but let's just follow along with the lesson. 2, open, 1, open. F major, any combination of F, A, C will give you F major chord. C major, D minor, E minor, F major, 5 chord. What comes after F? G. You might know that already. Open, 2, 3, 2. There's your G major chord. What comes after G in the musical alphabet? Again, there's no H note, so it goes back to the beginning, which is A minor. It's just 2. Open, open, open. Or if you just want to hit open, open, open on the bottom 3 strings, also counts as the A minor. That's the beautiful thing about knowing how chords are built, because like, okay, man, it might be hard for me to get a finger to the 2nd fret if I'm maybe somewhere else and I need to play A minor. Guess what? Don't worry about the G string and just hit the bottom 3 strings like that. Okay? And then finally, what is the 7th note in the key of C? C, D, E, F, G, A, B. All right? This is a tricky one. This is a diminished chord. It's got kind of like an interesting sound. It's not major, it's not minor. Maybe it's a little more minor sounding than it is major, but not hard to play at all. We're gonna skip the low string or the G string and go 2, 1, 2, okay? The whole reason this chord exists is to frighten children and to lead you home to 1, okay? So, this is gonna make a lot of sense when it comes to learning songs, which we'll do a couple song examples in just a second, but I wanna play through all the chords we just learned as a chord scale, right? Maybe you've heard of scales as like just like linear notes in a row, like. That makes sense, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna play them as chords. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And that might seem like a lot because these are all technically different fingerings, even though some of them have a lot in common. Like I said, that D minor to E minor, you know? It's a little different. Also, if you see this as a shape, it's like, oh, well, this is just 2 frets higher because D minor, D sharp minor, E minor. Now it's a movable shape. No matter what key you're in, you can always find it just by thinking of that shape. But it can be daunting at first because they are 7 different chords, but the relationship between those chords in a key is going to be the same. So how is this going to help us learn songs? Well, now that you know these as numbers, we can start talking about chord progressions as just a combination of number. There's one chord progression that I know you've heard before. It's the most common chord progression in the history of pop music. It's a 1-5-6-4, okay? Just some like Journey Don't Stop Believin' is a 1-5-6-4. U2 With or Without You is a 1-5-6-4. You can go see like a YouTube video. I'm sure maybe you've seen it before where it's like, one chord progression that's 100 songs, and somebody plays through it and then just changes the lyrics. This is it. What is a 1-5-6-4 in the key of C? Now, like I said, there's a handy way to memorize which chords are which. In any key, the 1, 4, and 5 are going to be major chords, and the 2, 3, and 6 are going to be minor chords, all right? 1, 4, 5 is major. I always remember like 1 plus 4 is 5. 1, 4, and 5 are major. 2, 3, 6 are minor. 2 times 3 is 6. However you want to remember it. 1, 4, 5 major, 2, 3, 6 minor, 7 is diminished, you're probably never going to use it. All right. So 1, 4, 5, or 1, 5, 6, 4 in C would be C. What's 5? C, D, E, F, G, major. 6, what's after G, the musical alphabet? A, minor. What's 4? A, G, F, major. So a 1, 5, 6, 4 in C would be C major, G major, A minor, F major. Okay, so again, 1, 5, 6, 4. You could just, maybe you even hear it already, but there are so many songs you can play just by that. And now when you look at a chord chart, you can diagnose which chord goes in which spot just by like, oh, like, all right, I know this. These are chords that I'm familiar with. That's a 4-5-2 chord progression. Huh? What's a 4-5-2 chord progression in C? 4 is F, 5 is G, 2 is D minor. 4, 5, 2. 4, 5, 2. You can make up your own. 1, 6, 4, 5, 3, 5. A different way to play a 3. 6 to 4 to 7, 1. Okay, there's no way to make that sound bad as long as you're playing in time, which, if you watched my last video, is about strumming and different strumming patterns, so check that out. But I think that is probably the most important music theory that you can add to your ukulele playing. Taking notes in a scale and then turning them into chords and remembering chord progressions as a series of numbers, all right? It may be daunting at first, but I promise you, if you learn this, you will never forget it. This is something that's gonna solidify in your mind. Just look up a chord chart for a song you know doesn't have a key change. Basically, any song written after 2015, I promise you, doesn't have a key change in it anymore. It's not exactly on that like Scott Joplin piano tip like it used to be back in the 20s and 30s. And then be like, all right, where can I put these puzzle pieces together? It doesn't have to be just in the key of C, but think of a key as just an alphabetic group of numbers. And then just, apply that. Be like, especially when you see two major chords right next to each other. Like if you see a D major and an E major in a song, it's like, okay, well, is one of those the one chord? No, because they're right next to each other. D and E are next to each other. So you know that's the 4 and the 5, right? So in that case, you can count backwards. So if E is 5 and D is 4, some kind of C is 3, some kind of B is 2, A is 1, you're in the key of A. Stuff like that. Anyways, if you have more questions like that, I would be happy to help you. But before anything else, memorize the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in C, and then we can start talking about other keys. So if you want me to do a lesson on this in another key, let me know in the comment section. If you're interested in this ukulele, I think this is going on sale for Black Friday probably. Really inexpensive for like a ukulele that isn't made of wood and you can just keep in the car because it's not going to like melt. So check it out. Enya, carbon fiber composite uke. I'll have an affiliate link in the description. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.